So I think that the biggest thing is emotional detachment from money. So like in particular, when you start to run paid ads, where people get afraid is they start spending, let's say they spend £1,000 a day. And let's say on average, like if you use something like Hyros, you can see that, let's say on average, it takes 14 days for someone clicking on an ad to become a client. If you start spend like increase your ad spend to £1,000 a day on day one, and at the end of 7 days, you haven't really seen a return. Most people shit the pants and then completely turn it off. Whereas then, I said the faith thing earlier, you have to know like, okay, are the rest of the metrics kind of okay? Like the cost per call, cost per lead, like the leads are okay and qualified, then like we just need to keep spending and it will come profitable.
Yeah.
And that's what most people's businesses do this, because it's like they use their emotions to try and pull things, which is why I think it's emotionally trying to unattach from things and then going from being a promoter to an operator. So you have to be able to pull people up to a higher standard and think about creating leverage from yourself through people. So like for you, for example, it'd be if you could bring in a salesperson, they can start to take half of some of the sales calls off of you. Yeah. You're suddenly then buying your time back, and then you can then do higher leverage things to like increase the call volume, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. And what about, have you ever experienced where you've had like a great month and the next month has been a bit shit? And if you have experienced that, like how have you got through that?
Action beats anxiety. So for me, like in particular, actually, when you look at more what we do now, like kind of B2B. So like for me to work with people like one-to-one for a year is like 50K. So like if someone signs up for 50K, that's a big, like that'll make a difference in our revenue. Or if like two people sign up, it makes a big difference. So naturally ours tends to kind of swing more now. I think what's important for people, so like particularly when you have a business for a longer period of time, is I look at trends. So I'd be like, okay, cool. If let's say, for example, we had a great January, but let's say if January wasn't that good, I would look back at last year. Okay, like what did January look like last year? What did it look like the year before? And then just try and look for patterns, and then like try and plan forwards. So I think that's kind of the most important thing, is having that resilience that like it's always going to kind of go up and down a bit. You just want to have like an upward trajectory, but it's never a fucking straight line.
So what would you actually do if like you're going through the next month after you just had a crazy
I would try
month?
and work out, if we had a shit month, I would look at what the point of constraint is, what the problem is. So most people automatically always be like, we haven't booked enough sales calls. Yeah. A lot of the time that's not necessarily the issue. A lot of the time it's maybe either the sales team, or it can potentially be even like the marketing message. Did you have any any offers or promotions? Yeah. So what I would then try and do is just double down on kind of what works. So be like, okay, I'd audit all our social media and be okay, are we being very clear and direct in terms of our messaging? Has our messaging trying to change? Has our reach gone down any of our posts? If there's nothing wrong with the content, I'd be like, okay, fine. I then look at the ad metrics. Has the ads changed? Are we paying less? Has the algorithm changed on that? And then I kind of look at the sales team. So I would try and find what I think the problem is, and then try and be aggressive at focusing on that area. So like as your business grows, almost the way I see you is like you're like a specialist team that you have to like go and fucking deploy yourself in wherever the issue is that time. So like sales, fulfillment, fucking content lead generation.
Yeah.
Like for us, for example, in December, we signed up I think like 18 clients in 2 days, and we kind of like fucking broke some of our onboarding stuff because it was so many people. So then like, okay, that's a problem, then we need to fix that straight away. And then you'll get another problem the next month with something else. So it's just trying to spot the smoke before it becomes a big fire. Yeah. Which is why the biggest skill in entrepreneurship is like pattern recognition.
Something I'll ask you on this is something that's helped me recently. When I always used to compare on a monthly basis, now like my goal for 2026 is I want us to make £1 million, right? So instead of me thinking from Feb the 1st, we're back to zero, I'm thinking, okay, cool. Anything now, we're carrying on from 125K. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's the best way to do it. Like, even if you look at like over a business calendar year, fitness has some seasonality into it. So like generally, probably in the summer months, it's generally slightly quiet than it would be in maybe November, maybe December, January, across the winter months is generally kind of the pattern I would see. So you have to expect some kind of like peaks and troughs through that. So that's why I think it's better to look in quarters and kind of years rather than week to week, month to month. It's also, I think, an easy trap entrepreneurs fall into is also looking like day to day of like, oh, I didn't make any revenue today, but then I made $5,000 the next day. Like, that's always kind of the way it's going to be. And what happens to people who get stuck in that mindset, they then can't sell the high ticket coaching programs because their identity is so like attached to everything that if someone says no, they're like, oh fuck, I should have just sold it for 2K.
It's like scarce mindset, isn't it? Like if you're constantly thinking I haven't got enough, you're not in flow state, if that makes sense, right?
Well, you make poor decisions.
Yeah.
So I think being aggressive with solving problems, and I think zooming out. Now, if you enjoyed this clip and you're a coach, creator, or a business owner, and you want help in terms of how to scale your business using ads, AI, content, marketing, a lot of things we talk about on the show, then hit the link at the top line of our description in the YouTube video. You can book on a call with us and we'll walk through the whole process, audit your business, and show you where there's huge, huge opportunities for you to scale.